Hi everyone, this video covers my pull attempt on Ramza LD, and in this video I'll be speeding up the parts where I did not get any gold weapons, and I will play the gold weapons at normal speed. I also have a video on my pull plans on the banners featuring Ramza's BT weapon, so do check it out. I will include the link in the video description. And I have also a few different battle videos on the Divine Diabolos Lufenia stage, so you can also check those out in my channel if you need to see some different party comps defeating the stage. So on this banner, I feel that Ramza's LD is the big prize, and Ramza is a great character on the rework. So first go up here, and unfortunately no Ramza LD. That would have been a great early LD if I managed to get it, but oh well. So Ramza's LD is a great pickup, and I highly recommend everyone to complete Ramza's gear if you have not obtained any of his gear before, especially his LD. He's now a top tier support unit, and the rework also gives him healing where he previously lacked in his kit. Notably also, in the Divine Diabolos Lufenia stage, the difficulty really depends on whether you have Ramza or not. The biggest challenge in Divine Diabolos is actually the strict turn count, where the Lufenia stage requires you to complete the fight in just 60 turns, and Divine Diabolos Lufenia has 10 million HP, so the way to get around it is to abuse free turns, of which Ramza has in his kit. And beyond that, Ramza also has buffs and launches, which helps counter two of the mechanics in Divine Diabolos Lufenia stage. So if you're having difficulty, I really highly recommend trying to get Ramza's LD. Notably also, he will serve you very well beyond his event. There will be many events where I think it will be great bringing Ramza in, just due to the sheer utility that he has in his kit. Just want to touch a bit maybe on the Divine Diabolos Lufenia stage also. It can be quite a tricky fight. There are a couple of things that you need to prepare for in your party comp. So first of all, as I mentioned, it has a very strict 60 turn requirement. Secondly, you need to have some sort of at least one character who can provide 6 buffs total to the party, such as Ramza of course, but also Sas, Penelo, Selfie are other examples. And you need to have at least one launcher. If you are actually cheesing Divine Diablo stage, you can actually make do with just one launch the entire fight, because if you cheese the stage, you will only need to launch him at 79%, and then thereafter use your cheese to either delete his turns, terror lock, HP, attack disable lock, and so on, and complete the fight that way. So if you want to get more information on cheese strategies for this stage, do again check out some of the videos I've uploaded. So far luck isn't too bad actually. I did get a couple of goals. The only unfortunate thing is that I have no use for any weapon outside of Ramza's LD, because I have every other weapon MLB on this kit, on this banner. Do note that this is the first time where the featured character's LD isn't on both banners. Usually they are. Since this is the first time in global where we are getting 2 LD weapons, Ramza's LD is on one banner and Makina's LD is on the other banner. So if you're aiming for a specific LD, do make sure you are pulling on the correct banner. A little bit about Makina. I actually already have Makina's full gear before this event, and all I did in this event is just a purple Machina. Is Machina worth it? Really depends on your resources. If you really only have enough resources to pull an MLB 1 character, I would recommend Ramza. So next goal up here, almost got it, but unfortunately just happened to be Ramza's EX. So again, if you only have enough resources to maximize one character, I think by far Ramza is the top choice. If you can have enough resources to maximize more than one, I really think Machina is worth it. At the very least, he makes farming the Diabolos illusion bot significantly easier if you have him MLB with his LD. So do consider that. And he does help a lot in the Lufenia stage as well. And I'm sure he'll be useful in future fights. I think the biggest drawback in Machina's kit is really just that his DPS really depends on his frame debuff. And in many Lufenia fights nowadays, the bosses always has some way, shape or form to cleanse debuffs. So if his framed spiral linchpin debuff gets cleansed off, it really hurts his damage potential, and in fights where you cannot remain his frame debuff for long, it's probably better not to bring in Machina. But beyond that, if you can somehow prolong his frame debuff, he's a great DPS character. Finally, the next orb. There was quite a long lull there. So Freya's EX, not bad. I already do have Freya's EX, and actually on this banner my EX luck was actually quite good. If only that I could have used more than one EX, it would have been great. But oh well, can't complain. EX is an EX. So Baltius LD, which is a global first, is coming up in a couple of days. Am I pulling for him? Yes, I am considering between gems or tickets for now. Normally I just spend tickets, but I'm just wondering whether I should spend gems in the hopes of also scoring Ramza's burst weapon. I'm leaning more towards tickets at this point in the game. Is Baltier worth it? Well, in terms of the potential characters you can MLB in the Ramza arc, I actually rate Baltier as second after Ramza. So Ramza, just due to his sheer utility, I think is top pick. But that doesn't mean Baltier is by any stretch a terrible character. He does have a lot of utility as well, and he, in terms of priorities, I really rank him very close to Machina, and between both of them is a toss-up who will be the second most prioritized MLB character this month. I think it also depends a bit on who you're missing in your roster. So if you want more DPS character, then maybe you can prioritize Machina more than Baltier. But if you want someone who can Asuna your party or dispel buffs or provide great auras to the party, all in one, then Baltier himself is also a great pick. There are many people who are debating against Baltier's usefulness. And make no mistake, he's not a very broken character, so he's not similar to, say, when Arania was first released, where she really broke the game for like 6-7 months. But I still think Baltier is nevertheless quite a solid character at least. And the thing that I love most about his kit is that he just has quite a lot of different utility built in, which in some Lufenia stages really opens up team composition. So just because he fulfills quite a number of roles, it gives you more flexibility in picking your other two party members. At the very least, more flexibility than before. Of course, by no means he's mandatory. I mean, if you look at the Japanese version of the game, they did fine without him. So, if you're hurting on resources after pulling for Ramza's LD and you want to start saving resources, I think he is also potentially skippable. So all in all, again, it depends really on how much resources you have. If you can afford to pull and max limit break more than one character, I will prioritize in the following order of Ramza, either Makina or Baltier, and then I will actually rate Caius and Guy, who's coming up, as lower priority than the first three. Okay, next goal up. And nope, Freya EX. So I've got quite a few Freya EX in this pool. The funny thing is that when I actually pulled Freya EX some banners ago, I was actually quite unlucky and I had to spend quite a bit, and I never really used Freya, so I think overall I just waited for her. Of course, one thing to consider for your pool plans is that if you farm Divine Diabolos itself, you get quite a lot of gems and tickets that way. If I'm not mistaken, you get roughly about 400 tickets and quite a lot of gems. Can't remember how much. So you can factor that into your pool plans this arc as well. Regarding Caius and Guy, they're not actually bad. In fact, actually, Caius is quite notable for having a very good LD call. But it's just really unfortunate for them that they are placed in a time where there's quite a lot of hype characters. Ramza and Baltier, I think, are great characters and probably, for me, better than them. Hey, so next Gold Orb. Ramza EX again. So between Caius and Guy, I would rate Caius slightly higher than Guy, mainly because of the LD call ability for Caius, which many people say is actually quite decent. But really, it's very hard for me to justify pulling for Caius just on the basis of an LD call alone. So I may just skip him up altogether. I think maybe that would depend a bit on how lucky I am in Baltier's pool. As for Guy, I really plan to skip him because I already have Gao max limit broken. I think that the most use for Guy comes in the form of his Earth Element enchant. And so if you skipped Gao in the past, then I think Guy is a great pickup. if you already have Gao max limit broken, I really don't see a big need for a guy. He is somewhat of a pseudo tank, but at this point of the game, we have Gladio, and Gladio really brings so much to the table that I really don't see myself giving up his spot for Guy. Okay, so did we get it? Yep. So overall, I think I am quite happy in my pool this time. I spent quite a bit of tickets, but you know, anytime that you don't have to pity a weapon, to me is considered a win. Okay, so overall, how did I do? Well, actually quite good. I did have to spend quite a number of tickets, and in total I spent 172 tickets. Started off with 746, and I ended up with 574 tickets at the end. I'm really quite happy. I got quite a number of EX here, and you know, even though you may have your EXs ML bit, I really like having more EX, because you know, in the future you can actually max those out again to get additional spheres and ingots. So overall, yeah, quite happy. So that's it for this video. Hope you also got lucky in your pulls for Ramza. And as always, if you enjoy the content, do leave a like, comment, or subscribe. It really helps a lot. Till then, I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.